Hello and welcome to the podcast, Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast. I'm Rich Harshaw, your host as usual. And today with me, as you can see, I have Jason Schnulle. He's a senior business development manager for a company called Networx, Networx Home Pro. They've got a couple divisions in the business. I'll let him talk about that. But here's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about aggregated leads. And I know aggregated leads is a hot button. A lot of people hear that and they just run for the hills. Other people hear that and they're like, oh yeah, we make a lot of money off of these things. So it's kind of I don't want to say it's a controversial topic because I think that's not quite the right word, but it is polarizing, let's say. Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rich. Happy to be here and looking forward to getting into this discussion.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And just want to make a note that Jason and Networx will be showing up at the Level 10 Contractors Operation Lead Surge in September. And that's kind of how we ended up on this podcast today because we want to talk in this conference about 7 different lead generation methods. We're going to talk about SEO, Facebook, pay-per-click, OTT, media, all the usual stuff that falls under the purview of Level 10 Contractor. But also, I know from experience working with tons of companies in this industry that the aggregated leads is an important part of a lot of companies' lead flow. And I'm trying to be super politically correct here, Jason. I've been less than thrilled with some of the other companies in this space. There are a lot of good companies in this space. I don't want to throw everybody under the bus. But I met you at an event last month, and you told me what you guys do, and I thought, oh, okay, there it is. There's the company that actually does lead aggregation the way that it needs to be done. So that's what we're here to talk about. And with that intro, Jason, why don't you just give a brief introduction as to what it is that you guys do?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. So, Networx has been around for 20 years. Now we generate leads in over 150 categories. So, we're matching homeowners that are searching for your type of work, whether that's roofing, HVAC, plumbing, and then we match it up with the contractor in that local market. Now, we have our owned and operated website, networx.com, that we generate leads from. And then we have 300 other strategic partners with their own creatives, own landing pages. So we can cast a very wide net to see what works for you as a contractor. And over time, we're going to cut those 300 sources down to 100 to find out what works specifically for you.
Okay, so I'm going to paint with broad strokes here. You've got an optimization process that takes a broad lead gen program and it over time narrows it down to the things that work the best. So give us an idea. You said that there's 300. What are these? What are the 300? Obviously, I don't want you to list 300, but like what are the categories?
So the 300 strategic partners are the 150 categories. We're talking roofing,
No,
HVAC.
not those. Got that. So that's going to be everybody listening to this podcast and then a bunch that probably aren't listening to this podcast. But where are these lead sources? Where are they coming from? Who are these 300?
Yep. So those strategic partners, we kind of hold those close to the vest. That's our proprietary information. If we didn't do that, people would bypass us and go right to those sources to
Yeah, I'm not looking to get you, reveal your source, but like, are these people that are generating through pay-per-click? Is it online? Is it Facebook? Is it TikTok? Is it SEO? Where are they generating these leads?
Sure. Yeah, it's all web traffic, SEO, SEM, all driving to fill out a form fill lead. So
Okay.
anything you can imagine on online, any type of online advertising, that's where we're driving this traffic from.
Okay. And do you have your own, what would you call it, in-house lead generation platforms, or is it all through third parties?
Yes, we do have our own in-house lead generation strategies as well from networx.com. And
Okay, so let's say you've got 300 different, what did you call them, partners?
yeah, strategic partners.
Yeah, so you got 300 strategic partners, and then on top of that, or included in that, I'm not sure which, you've got some stuff that Networx is generating leads organically themselves. Is that right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And then over time, you see which ones are working best, and then you just start cutting them out, I guess, and leaving only the best.
Right, exactly. Each strategic partner will have subsources to that too. So we can look at, one source could have 50 subsources. So we're able to get very granular and say, is subsource A through F working without us turning off a whole partner? So yes, we can get very nimble in how we optimize to make sure we're not turning off anything that's working.
And how long, what's a reasonable amount of time to determine if something's working or not working?
Yeah, so we always ask for 90 days to give us a test. On our Enterprise Pro side, we're dealing with budgets of $10,000 a month for 3 months. And in that first month phase, it's really collecting data. We can't make any knee-jerk reactions and do any optimizations too early. So month two is really the optimization month. We should get enough data there to look for trends. Take out some sources to increase that set rate. And then month three, we should have, several sales coming in. So then we can do back end optimizations off of maybe credit declines that were happening. But usually, if clients stick with us past 3 months, we retain 95%.
Yeah, I mean, so $10,000 a month. What kind of company does that normally look like? Are they in one market? Are they in multiple markets? I know a lot of clients that are in one market that would gladly stroke a check for $10,000. Are there $10,000 worth of leads in a single market, or does this have to go over multiple markets?
Well, yeah, it just depends on the category that we're talking about. But yes, a single market can definitely generate, we can definitely generate $10,000 worth of leads for them. Our enterprise team, we do deal with a lot of companies that have multiple markets, um, but we do focus on, more regional companies as well.
So what categories are most likely to have a lot of leads available?
Mhm. So, roofing, siding, HVAC, plumbing, I would say those are our top five.
Okay, so on the remodeling side, roofing and siding are your best categories.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
then, of course, HVAC, plumbing, those are kind of a different category. By the way, we do have a lot of people that listen to the podcast from those, what I consider home services. What about windows and bathrooms? Those are hot categories right now. Do you do pretty well in those?
Yeah, we have a lot of leads for bathroom and windows as well. Takes We need to do a little more optimization to find out what works there, to create more high intent traffic there. But yeah, it is a very high volume category for us as well.
Okay, so uh, take me through the optimization process. I heard you loud and clear before. Month one, kind of run the ads. Number two, optimize, throw stuff out that's not working. Step three, doing some back end, more fine tuning. As a client goes through that process, what should they expect to see in terms of either cost per lead or set rate or conversion rate? Like, what's the metric that says this is working better?
Yeah, so um, I would say out of the gate, I always start with a 15% set rate, and if it goes below that, we really need to work on us internally, and that's exactly what we'll do. We'll look at what sources we need to cut out, and if it gets below 15%, it's not a volume play at that point. We would rather trickle leads in one lead a day to find out what's working and then build from there. But usually we're at least a 15% set rate, and then after those optimizations in month two, we're getting into the 20s, and I think it could balance out to looking at a full year worth of leads, an 18% set rate is very good, um, and works out to the return on investment being a great return.
Okay, so walk me through that. 18%. So how much you charging for these leads? Let's say at the $10,000 a month spend level.
Yeah, now it just really depends on what category we're talking about. We offer exclusive leads and then shared leads. So our shared leads would go out to no more than you and three other contractors. So on the roofing side, our exclusive leads would be ranging from 151 to 167. Reason for the range there is it depends out how competitive we have to be to acquire that lead. Um,
That's a very specific number, 151 to 167.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know why it's that specific, but that's what.
So what
That's
about
what.
on the shared side?
Yep. So $70 to $90 for a shared lead.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's run the numbers on that. Let's just call it 160,
Okay.
kind of in the middle of your range there. So if I'm running $160, do you find that the set rate is higher with an exclusive lead than it is on a shared lead?
Yep. Yeah, I would say about 5 points higher.
So 25, 22 to 25% after optimization.
Yeah, 22%.
Okay. So if I got $160 divided by 22%, fine. I don't know if I did my math right. How does that work out? Let's see here. 22. So basically you're looking at 160 times 5, $800. If I can go in and close at, let's say, 33%, so I spent $800 for the set. I'm going to close one out of three, so I'm going to multiply that by three. So it's $2,400 per sale.
Yeah, roughly. Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes we're seeing better than that, but that's a good rough estimate. Yeah.
Well, and here's how I look at it. I mean, the key to me is consistency. Okay, so somebody might look at that number and go, I don't know if I like that number or if I don't like that number. Okay, fine. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But let me try to help you like it for a minute here. Okay. So again, if it's consistent and again, over time optimization, you've got this to where it's cranking out an $800 per a set run appointment. And if you on your end are closing a third, which I think is considered pretty typical for the industry, obviously some people higher, some lower. So it's going to give you a $2,400 thing. And so if somebody came to me, Jason, I'm just kind of role playing this with you a little bit, and they said, well, that's too much. I don't want to pay $2,400 for a closed sale. I'd say, great. How much do you want to charge? Like, how much do you think would be fair? If it's not 2,400 for a closed deal, how much do you think would you pay?
Hmm.
Okay. And let's say that maybe their average sale is $20,000. They go, well, I really don't want to pay over 10%. So 2,000, is that it?
Right.
Well, yeah, I guess I'd pay 2,000. Okay, so raise the price to 20,400, dummy.
Right. Right. Yeah, we're off by, $400 there, right? So, um,
And here's the reality. This is the truth. I know this is the truth. Jason, you know this is the truth. People out there listening, you know this is the truth. 10% is not considered uh, average. Like we used to always have this rule of thumb. It's like, oh, 10% is average. The reality is, if you're spending up to 15%, that tends to be pretty average these days. So even if you're in the 12, 13, 14, 15% at the number we just went through, to me, that seems like load me up, man. Give me as
yep.
many as you can give me.
Yep. Our first goal is to get our clients under 15% cost of marketing. Um, generally when we're first starting, it's like about 20, and then all those optimizations work down to get it below 15. And if we can get in the 10 to 12 cost of marketing percentage, usually people are unloading budgets and we can't get them enough leads.
Yeah, so I would assume that their complaint is, hey, give me more leads.
That's right. That's right.
That's a terrible problem to have as a lead seller, is that people just want more than you can actually supply.
Yep. I love it.
So I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire here. I just want to kind of get a general idea. So let's say that I'm doing roofing in, just going to throw a random market out there, Pittsburgh.
Sure.
So it's a big city. It has an NFL football team and it's a big enough city to, be of that caliber. How many roofing leads could you provide me in a month, you think?
Yeah, I would say if we did like a 50-mile radius between exclusive and shared, we could probably generate 100 to 150 leads a month.
Okay, 100 to 150, and you said that was between exclusive and shared. So, uh, again, not holding your feet to the fire, just trying to get an idea. So, like, how many of those would be, let's say it's 100, we'll go on the low end.
Yeah.
100, how many of those would be exclusive? How many would be shared, do you think?
Yeah, I think 30 exclusive and 70 shared. And my opinion on what is better, exclusive or shared, a lot of people will say, I want that exclusive lead. Um, and I kind of go the opposite route. I go the shared lead. One, it's more affordable. And two, how do we know that customer isn't going to go on, another lead generation site and fill out three exclusive leads to get their three quotes when I send a shared lead, it's already going out to 3 to 4 contractors. So they're less likely to still shop around on other lead generation sites and then you hear the horror story of, I got called 30 times. Well, could be because the homeowner just filled out, 5 requests.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So I just ran the math on this. If you give me 30 leads at 160 exclusive, you give me 70 leads shared at, let's say, $80, which is in the middle of your range. That comes out to $10,400.
Mhm.
Okay, so if I set 20, let's say 20%, because I've got some shared, some of the others. So I've got 100 leads. Whoops, doing math on the fly here, not a good idea. I'm using my iPhone. I hate this calculator. I use a financial calculator normally. I don't have it with me at the moment. But let's say so I've got 100 leads times 20% obviously is 20. If I close
Well, before that, there's every appointment, there's like a run rate. So typically, some people will cancel,
yeah,
right? Typically, bacon 75% will run.
okay, so that's 15. And then
Yep.
I'm going to divide that by 3 for a 33% closing ratio. I've got
Right.
5 sales. I'm at $20,000 per sale. It gets me right back to gets me to 100,000. And I've got a $10,400 cost. So boom, I just hit the number.
Yep. 10% cost of marketing. We're talking about, let's go to Philly. Do you have any other markets that we can go into? Do you have any other verticals that we can add in here for you to do the same thing?
Okay. Okay. So let's make a distinction again within your company on the enterprise side versus the small business side. Explain to the audience who would be the right kind of company for each of those.
Definitely. So, on the SMB side, the small medium business side, you're generally generating under $5 million in revenue. That doesn't totally exclude you from the enterprise side. Um, the enterprise side deals with companies that are generating over 5 million in revenue, and they're able to spend $10,000 a minimum a month in leads. And the enterprise side is dealing with disposition reports. So if you're sending pretty much what happens with the leads and giving us a full report on this lead converted into appointment, once you send that disposition report back to us, we're able to act on that data and we're able to do the optimizations. So the optimizations happen on the enterprise level, where the SMB side of the business is more plug and play, and you
Okay.
get.
So if a company's smaller and they say, "Hey, I'm willing to spend 10 grand, for 3 months to give this a whirl. Let's see if you can get it optimized," then they can be an enterprise customer even though they're smaller.
Yeah, yeah, we just have to align on expectations and just make sure we're not making any knee-jerk reactions in that, learning phase, which is sometimes tougher to do for the smaller size companies.
So you said that your goal is to get your customers to a 15% cost of leads against sales. Um, what are the easiest and then not, I want to know what's the easiest and then the least easy categories to achieve that in.
Mm. So roofing, siding is easy or the best performing. Um, HVAC, plumbing, all great. Um, what we're looking to improve here this year is our bathroom space, our window space, and getting into more restoration, fire and flood leads as well.
Okay.
Those.
By the way, I appreciate you saying that because, it's not necessarily easy to admit coming on a podcast, hey, we're better in roofing and siding than we are in windows and bathrooms, and we're working on that. But if that's the case, that's good to know. And if I'm going to just take a wild guess here, I'm going to guess that you have some very large enterprise clients that are like, hey, we'll work with you to work through those learning curves.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. When we have window and bathroom clients right now, and that's where our core values of we care deeply here to win together, and we're gonna do everything in our power to make this work, and this relationship work. So that's when it doesn't become a volume play anymore. That's when it becomes we want to figure this out and find the right sources and the mix and match that works for your team.
So, do you guys cooperate or collaborate or whatever the right word is with services like, I think it's Active Prospect that looks for duplicate leads?
Hmm.
So,
Active prospects. We love Ruben, Allie Crabtree, Eric Oppenheim. We love that team.
so the idea there is, let's say that somebody's buying leads from, let's say, four or five other lead aggregators, and there's always a chance that there's going to be duplicate leads. So, how does that work? Is it just literally whoever, let's say again that you've got five different lead companies, uh, and I get the same lead from three of them. Is it just whoever's got there first by chance gets to count it and charge it, and the other two don't? Is that how it works?
So if there's a duplicate within minutes of each other, that shouldn't happen. And if it does, you as the contractor call us, and we need to communicate with these other vendors to make sure that doesn't happen um, within that short term of a time frame.
Well, what do
Now,
you mean it shouldn't happen? Because they're buying maybe from your same lead source,
yeah,
and your
exactly.
lead sources are supposed to be exclusive to you.
Not generally. That we have strategic partners that are partnered with a lot of other people as well, but um, that shouldn't happen. If we're bidding on a lead, then it shouldn't. We shouldn't all be bidding for the same company at that
Okay. But it
that
is
time.
plausible that different strategic partners are generating the same lead relatively similar time frame because the person's online looking.
Mhm.
So I assume it's relatively common for your customers to come back vis-a-vis the active prospect system and go, hey, we already have this lead. And then again, in that case, it's really just a matter of, okay, whoever got there first gets to charge the customer for the lead. Whoever got there second, third, fourth, they just don't.
Yep, 100%. So a lot of the filters for active prospect they recommend don't reject a lead for or rejecting leads for 30 days. Right. So if I send a lead today and then another company sends a lead 20 days later, I'm there first, so they would reject that second lead. Right.
Okay.
So
Does it
um,
reset after 30 days or 60 days or some period of time?
yep, 30 at day 31, if we send that same lead over, it's fair to say that something in that contractor's sales process might not have been taken by the homeowner. For some reason they didn't reach out. It caused them to fill out another form. So it's
Yeah.
best to start that onboard or the outreach process over again to see if we can connect with them this time.
So let's say that I'm a roofer, I'm level 10 roofing, and I buy these 100 leads from you during the month. How long does it take the lead from the moment it's actually input into the form by the homeowner to where it lands in my, let's call it CRM?
Hmm. Yeah, it's within seconds. It's real time. So all that bidding happens, it's all streamlined, and then once we acquire the lead, it goes right into your CRM.
And I mean, I would hope and assume that this is all automated, but there's a bidding process that's happening in there somewhere, right?
Mhm. Yep. And the yeah.
Okay. I'm curious how that works, but I don't think it's really relevant on this call. It's just, it's interesting to me. I do a lot of work in connected TV, OTT,
Right.
and that's a crazy marketplace because you've got literally millions and millions and millions of TV impressions that are being bid on in real time to the millisecond, and then whoever ends up winning that bid, that literally milliseconds, that impression then goes to that customer.
Mhm.
And it's I mean, I don't think I should be that impressed by technology at this point now that we have self-driving cars and robots coming
Right.
online, but it is pretty amazing. I think if you went, I don't know what the lead aggregating world looked like, say 30 years ago, but I'm sure it had a lot of paper involved.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But how you were saying OTT works, it's the lead generation landscape's very similar to that in the bidding process.
Okay. Is there like a singular clearinghouse or is there multiple platforms? Just out of
Um,
curiosity.
Single clearinghouse.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I want to be the guy running the clearinghouse. So you're making a penny on every lead and
Right.
doing nothing.
Yeah, you and me both.
I think that's how Active Prospect I know is they're making their money by the pennies, and it works out well for those guys.
Right.
Okay, so talk about some of the problems in the industry, the lead aggregation industry, because look, I hear this all the time. I open the podcast with this that it's polarizing, and it's like people either love the lead aggregators or they hate the lead aggregators. There's very little in between. Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that the big problem with the lead generation space is the overpromising, leaning too heavy into projections and overpromising set rates and close ratios, and really just trying to sell. And I like to take a different approach, and in that process, I use the spin technique while asking my discovery questions, and I want to know, what your situation is, what the problem is, what the payoff of my solution could bring, and really just being a consultant to find out, are we a good fit to work with each other? If not, that's okay. But I feel like if more sales reps in the lead generation space were more consultants, we wouldn't have such a hard time gaining trust in with contractors. Contractors have been burned by the good lead generators over the years, but there's still really great ones out there. You know, I think it just really comes down to setting proper expectations and finding a true partner that wants to be there and be supporting you year over year, opposed to, cash grab situations where they set the 90-day pilot, and, after that, they, could kind of care less what happens. And that's unfortunate when it does happen. So I think going from a vendor and finding a true partner in the lead generation space is very key uh, to help us elevate our industry.
Yeah, I think a lot of times especially with smaller companies, they try lead ag, it doesn't work. I think usually it's because they just don't have the systems in place to be able to handle them, or they've got they've got expectations that are out of whack. And what I mean specifically by that is not, hey, you told me it was going to be X in your projections, but it didn't really turn out. I think it's that, if you're not used to 18 to 20% set rate is really, really, really low compared to other lead sources, right? Maybe they're used to doing shows, and when you set a lead, you set a lead. Like we set all of them, or they're running TV leads. TV leads notoriously set very high.
Right.
Pay per click tends to set very high. Facebook sets a little bit lower. So I think if people aren't used to this 20% set rate, then maybe they get jammed up a little bit and go, this is stupid. This sucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. A lot of people that are newer to buying leads at scale um, put in their own set rate from their own organic leads, and that those set at a very high clip, you know, 60, 80% that they set, and they think that's in the same ballpark as lead aggregators, and it's just not. An organic lead is the best lead you can get. They fill out your form, that can't really compare to someone coming on our site. And
Yeah.
that's why, some of those smaller companies do have a hard time justifying a 15 to 20% set rate, as well as processes. Some of these other companies that are taking leads at scale have 5 people, 20 people dedicated to calling the leads.
Yep.
And, and then the smaller companies have someone that's one person calling the leads, but she's also the office manager. She's also wearing 10 hats, and that's hard to keep up with the processes.
I'm going to assume that you recommend using automated follow-up systems for your leads.
Oh yeah. I've talked to Hatch. I always recommend Hatch out. They're a great service for automations, but any company like that that really can help you one, work the lead hard for the first 2 weeks, hit it heavy with calls, but then have an automated email drip campaign at some level and text campaign that always helps your efforts.
No. Okay. Well, anything else we haven't covered? I think we covered a lot of territory there.
Yeah, I think the last thing we have a new product coming out, live transfers that we're really excited about, and right now it's starting in the plumbing and electrical verticals, and in the next couple weeks here we're releasing it in all verticals. One of the verticals I'm excited about is the restoration, the fire and flood vertical. We have a great partnership with Core Group and about 1,500 contractors that are all part of this network. So really excited to get into this restoration space as the form fill leads don't really work best for someone that has 3 feet of water in their basement.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me about that. Tell me about live transfers. Let's say I'm a plumbing contractor. What does that look like? So somebody, well, I don't know. I don't, I can't even guess. Tell me how it works.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have an advertisement out. Do you have a plumbing issue? Call this number right now. Get connected for a quote. So they'll call. We will not intake the lead. It'll go straight to you as the contractor, and you're billed for a 30-second duration of a call. These calls are recorded so we can hear the quality there. And if it's an out of scope issue for example, plumbing, if you do plumbing but don't do septic, we're willing to work with you and give you credits on how we normally do for form fill leads. But we're
So,
seeing
so by definition, that's an exclusive lead, right? Because they're just literally contacting you directly.
yep,
How
exactly.
much does a lead like that cost?
So right now in our pilot phase, electrical and plumbing live transfer ranges from 70 to $80. And while we're working out the issues there, that number is likely to go up. But it's a new product. We need to learn from the feedback, and that's what that price is right now for HVAC installs. When we release that, it's going to range from $80 to $95 in the pilot phase.
Okay. And is that typically for repairs or
Uh,
for replacements?
for both, because when we can't really identify what they're calling for, they're
Yeah.
clicking on a link saying, "Hey, do you need HVAC contractor?" So once
Okay.
they call that, and that's why that call is recorded. So we can understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if people want to learn more, what's the best way to learn more?
Yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I believe our URL, networx.com/enterprise, will be a part of this in this attachment for the podcast.
Okay. And that's Networks with an X, right? Networks.
Yep, Networx with an X. Thank you for that. Um,
Networks.com.
yep,
Okay.
yep. And if
All
you
right,
want to,
Jason, thanks so much for your time. We'll put that information in the descriptions. So everybody check that out. Also, you'll be able to meet with Jason and his cohorts at the Operation Lead Surge event, September 11th and 12th in Philadelphia. So look forward to seeing everybody there. And Jason, thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
thank you for having me, Rich.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.